Howdo and welcome back to Morrigan's Creations, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how I painted the skin for this Rockgut Troggoth. I'd like to very quickly say that there is no right way to actually paint skin. As I'm sure you know, everybody has a different skin tone. So this video is not exactly the be-all end-all of painting skin. It is just a video showing you how I painted this type of skin for this model. So without further ado, let's go get started. I wanted the Troggoth to have an almost human skin tone, so I decided to spray an all-over coat of Hull Red, which is going to give us a nice warm starting point to begin adding our paints to. I chose to paint this using my airbrush. You could do this with a regular brush, but as you can expect, it will take you a little bit longer. For this step up in brightness, I decided that I was going to run Ratskin Flesh through my airbrush. And I'm choosing to spray at around a 45-degree angle to ensure that Hull Red stays in all the recesses. After cleaning out my airbrush, I then loaded it up with a very thinned down Evil Sunz Scarlet, and I sprayed this in areas where blood flows near the surface. Most noticeable areas are in the nose, the eyes and around the ears and parts of the hands. If you regularly paint miniatures with a lot of skin, I would highly recommend you pick up this book. It is Colour Mixing for Portraits by William Powell, which has some good pages about colour theory and also where to place your highlights on the face, the tone you need and sort of the recommended colours. This video isn't sponsored in any way, but I just find that book to be quite useful when it comes to painting skin. I'd settled on doing a final highlight of Flayed One Flesh for this miniature, and that's just going to help make the transitions a little smoother. I applied this mixed 1:1 with some Kislev Flesh and applied this at an even steeper angle to ensure my previous colour gradients stay visible. To begin our brushwork, I've made another mix of Flayed One Flesh and Kislev Flesh, at maybe a 2:1 mix, and I began roughly highlighting areas that are facing the light source. Remember, we have actually thinned the paint slightly, and this is always going to dry a little darker than when it seems when it's wet. So we're going to need to add a couple layers to reach full opacity. With each layer we are going to be painting a smaller area which will help our gradient from a distance. Because we're trying to achieve a textured look, we don't have to have perfect blends. I like a more textured and painterly style, much like you see from artists like Sergio Calvo. After building up the opacity, I felt the contrast was a little too stark, so I made a mix of the previous mix with a little bit more of that original Hull red. Alternatively, you could just use Nightquester flesh here, but at the time I didn't have any. And in my limited experience, painting skin at a high level is a delicate balancing act. If it seems at all confusing at all the mixes that I'm making, bear in mind it is harder for me because I've got to try and narrate all this. So to make it all pretty simple, I'm constantly using colours that are already on my palette and mixing in the colours that I've already been using. Once again, we're going to be reintroducing our highlight colours, this time in the form of pure Flayed One flesh. Making sure to highlight the area between the nostril and the eye, all the way into that crease. Now that we are at our highest highlights, I begin to introduce some stippling to the nose and other areas of the face. This is going to make those areas look more textured, and also make future glazing between colours a little easier. With all that finished, it is as simple as repeating the process across all other soft skin areas of the model. The underpainting does work to our benefit as an indicator of where to place your highlights. To finish off the skin, I loaded my airbrush with some thinned down Gulliman flesh. I sprayed this into areas where my gradients were a little stark and in areas of high blood flow. Once again, like the tip of the nose, cheeks and areas of the hand. It's a simple step, but it really ties everything together. So I hope that this tutorial, if you can really call it that, has been helpful to at least one of you. If it has, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and let's take a look at that finished skin.